Hello, and welcome to Nerds and Stuff. My name is Martin, your Master of Ceremonies for the Urban Shadows campaign, Friends Like These. Before we get into our post-campaign wrap-up, I'm going to have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Sterling. I played Calvin Miles, our wizard.
I'm Daniel. I played Oliver Silver, our vampire.
And I'm Junior. I played Jake Gordon, our something.
Tainted. That's what you played. You were a Tainted.
Tainted, yeah.
Tainted, yeah.
Changed form at the end.
Right.
We all changed at the end.
Holy shit. So, we just finished our Urban Shadows campaign. Bump, ba-da-lump, bump. And we're done. And we're here to talk about the experience that is Friends Like These. So, I guess we'll just, I'll kind of have questions and some structured things for this, but we'll just kind of go around and see where this conversation takes us. So, first of all, we literally just finished our campaign moments ago. And, I don't know, I don't know if words are available yet, but I will say my immediate thought is that, as much as you hate to see a campaign end, because it's always bittersweet to end a chapter, right? This is a chapter of Nerds and Stuff. This is a chapter of our role-playing. And as much as it sucks to end a chapter, being a longtime GM, I think it's ultimately better to end a campaign in an amazing fashion than to see one fall apart and go on too long and drag out past its lifespan and just fall apart. So for me, as much as I love playing Urban Shadows and as much as I had a blast meeting with you guys every week and playing this game, I am happy to see it come to an end for such an amazing ending that we put together. And for such an amazing story that we told over the past several weeks, months, etc.
You know, it's very bittersweet. I've been playing with Martin for fucking 6 years now?
Lots of years.
And
all the years.
We've had some campaigns end in very bad ways. Like right in front of a boss room in the first adventure we were doing, we had one end right there, and that was just terrible. Having one end in this fashion it's brutal. Us, it hurts so bad. Before we actually shot our very last scene, I had to call for a quick break because I was feeling so sick to my stomach that I couldn't think. We
kind of knew it was the last scene of the campaign. It's just
the combined emotions of the last scene of the campaign and knowing kind of what it could lead to, knowing that I had to confront Jake like that. It was rough. But I think we've told a fantastic story. We've had some great times at the table, and we've had some rough times, but, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, this campaign was definitely a roller coaster of emotions. It's our first Powered by the Apocalypse game we've ever played, and I think that rule set really blended well with our playstyle, where it was more open and loose with some of the rules. It allowed us to roleplay and get into our characters easier.
I would say that it empowered our role-playing style.
Yeah.
I mean, it unleashed it. Not to cut you off, but we've played a lot of different systems, and this is the most natural system I've picked up as a GM, as an MC. Running with it, it's just so smooth. Continue.
Yeah, but it allowed us to open up, and I don't think I've ever had a role-playing experience quite like this where it's been as intense all the time, just like non-stop go. At the end of the night, every time we get done with a session, it was like, what happened?
Yeah. You feel it in your back, you feel it in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Your body and your soul hurt.
Yeah. And it's just an amazing experience.
Well, for me, first of all, I just want to thank these guys for letting me be part of this and, this campaign. And, I wish these guys a lot of success in the channel and, subscribe and share to everybody. It's a lot of times playing this, when I go home, I sleep like a baby, because I am drained.
Put it all on the floor.
It's
No
just,
table.
it's such an amazing, feeling and to be a part of it, and it's great. And I recommend it anybody out there to try the system and just play, go out with friends and just hang out. That's what it's all about. So.
Junior's definitely one of our friends that does not roleplay that often. In fact, every single game I get him to join us for, it's really harder than pulling teeth.
Yep.
He's a busy guy. He has children. He has, school, work. Trying to get him to the table every week is a heroic feat unto itself. But you can see... It's undeniable, our chemistry. This is not our first campaign together, and I hope to God it won't be our last. But it is always such a pleasure to have not only each and every one of you, but Junior to take time out of his schedule and join us. I think he secretly hates it and loves it.
It's hard on
like
you.
angry masturbation.
It's hard. It's like angry masturbation, exactly.
It might be pulling teeth to get him here, but the second he is here, he just
can't stop
falls
grinning.
to the wall.
Yeah.
He just
His first session, you said at the end, the outro is, I can't stop grinning the entire time I'm playing because we just have so much fun together. And like Sterling was saying, it's like we finish a session and we're just tired. We're just dog tired. We're exhausted. But we get this euphoric high. I get a euphoric high every single time I finish playing role-playing games and having a great session. When you step away from the table and usually head over to the comfy couch and hang out, we can't shut up about the game long enough until it's 2 a.m.
days later.
Yeah, or
We're
days
still
later.
talking about
It's
it.
2 a.m. after we finished our session at 11 or 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 4 a.m. and we're like, oh shit, we should probably call it a night.
Oh god, we have to do stuff tomorrow.
Our session usually ends and it says, "Oh, we can hang out for a few minutes."
We'll hang out. We'll just unwind a little bit. That was a rough
3
session.
hours later.
That was a rough session. We should probably just sit down and chill for a second.
No, they're all rough sessions.
Yeah. So, So one thing that we like to do at the end of every session to kind of highlight fun things that happen at the table and other stuff like that is I like to prompt everyone, like, what was your favorite moment for your character that night?
Oh shit.
What was your favorite moment for for someone else's character that night? And what was your favorite moment for an NPC that night? And so we're going to do this on camera.
It's been a busy night.
It has been. It's been an incredibly long night. In fact, for the channel, this will probably be like the last 5-6 weeks of content. So it'll go back a little bit, but I think we'll do one on camera real quick, and we'll chat a little bit more about the campaign. So I'll go first, and hopefully not steal all of your guys' favorite.
Oh, shit, no, you go last.
I'll go last. I'm gonna have Sterling go first.
All right.
So what was your favorite Calvin Miles moment
Jeez.
tonight?
You know what? I think I really had a lot of fun during the abduction. Or like the rescue.
Okay, the B&E.
Yeah, the B&E. Just what they were doing was a lot of fun, and I couldn't help but think of like what Calvin was doing, so it gave me a little bit of time. But I think just I had a lot of fun doing it, creating crazy wizard things.
Not only that, but your painting thing, like, had this campaign gone on longer, the painting, the gold dragon statue, like,
It's
that
a
is
great bit of lore to add in.
Well, and that is the kind of stuff that this game is so flexible with. You're creating stuff, and the moment you're creating it, I'm getting excited about the ideas of the future, and that's unfortunately a big thing in this campaign. Is
Since
like,
we knew tonight was the last night.
we just kind of love to create more content than we're ever going to get to. This campaign could have gone on for years, but unfortunately schedules won't allow for that. So we had to end the campaign. But there's moments in there, like when you're creating the painting, that I could sink my teeth into as an MC. And so that was an amazing moment for sure. What was one of your favorite other player moments for the night?
There were a couple really good ones. I think just Jake was just on point tonight. He had a ton of
His
really.
dice were pretty good too.
Oh god, yeah.
I need to hit the casino.
Oh jeez, yeah. Next stop, the casino for sure.
His He had some great scenes altogether. But I think one of my favorites for him was the fight scene for sure. Just describing
the arena.
It was so him battling Trent, and like the one in particular is when he like blocked with his wings, which mechanically does nothing.
Yeah.
But then it like led on to this cool thing where he like got pushed up against the wall, threw him off, and then like did a kick off the wall and like flew across the entire arena to bash him and stuff. And
absolutely. All right, and then last one, favorite NPC moment of the night.
Oh man, gotta put me on the spot for this one too.
The book says put a wizard in the corner and watch him do magic.
Yeah. Trying to think who all NPCs did we see tonight?
Pretty much all of them.
Zoe.
The
prophecy was great, and spoiler alert, you had shared it with me, like the idea of doing that prophecy. So, just while you were doing it, I was like geeking out as just all the possibility and kind of
just the layers of it. Yeah, because that's one thing we had talked about too, is just the layering and setting it up.
And I mean, your first prophecy in the entire campaign happened entirely by mistake, I think.
There was a lot of stuff that happened by mistake in the campaign.
Sure, that was one thing, yeah. But your prophecy that like foretold how Scarlet would die.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we totally planned that all the way.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this was a lot of fun.
Yep, being flexible. All right, Daniel, favorite Oliver moment of the night.
Okay, so I always fucking geek out when Oliver's doing vampire stuff. It's just being the one in control behind that is just so fucking cool. Even though my dice never let me do vampire stuff, every time I want to do something cool, it's
I'm gonna shove
roll
Jake.
a 3.
I'm gonna shove Jake. Snake eyes. I give him a slight pat on the shoulder, and he says,
him,
"No
Jake,
you're
homo."
crazy.
He says, "Are we supposed to hug it out?" I'm not a homosexual. I just want you to know, full disclosure. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
So for me, there's two, in my eyes, two really great Oliver vampire moments that happened tonight. My favorite, though, was in my apartment when the Fae attacked. Sliding over the piano and kicking this guy out of the window, following him, snacking on him, and flying away to escape that situation was just like... It was so cinematic. I just love that stuff.
Yep, and that goes to good and bad dice rolls, working with your MC to be a fan of the PCs and just allowing crazy shit to happen because we all trust each other. I think those are some amazing moments. All right, favorite Calvin or Jake moment?
Well, Sterling took mine. Jake in the arena was just... I was just sitting there like popping popcorn and just enjoying that super cinematically.
Yeah,
really
corn dog moment. Yep.
I really liked, though, Calvin's awkward interactions between trying to kick out his daughter. So that his
right off the bat,
and then that follow-up, all that, and then like the Sanctum in a Sanctum shit. That was just... I loved that whole scene.
Sanctum, Book,
that was just great.
Book that crazy cat. All right, favorite NPC. I know you had a lot of interactions tonight with NPCs, especially. Yeah.
God, I'm trying to think on like everything that I did and picking one moment. It wasn't something I liked, but a really good NPC moment was the scene with Artemis and Ivy.
I was going to say that was probably...
I didn't like it. It was painful physically, but it was necessary and really it really adds a lot of depth to the fiction.
Yeah. And it had been set up for a while, building towards it, and I think that it came to a conclusion that was powerful to the narrative, that informed future things that played off of it and stuff like that. So I think that scene not only was a great finale to one arc, but started up another arc in strength.
It was a real kind of keystone scene. It did so much further on in the fiction.
Absolutely.
It hurt.
Jake, Junior.
That guy.
Junior and Jake. I think they're sometimes inseparable. Jake, Junior, what was your favorite Jake moment of the entire night?
There was a few that I really enjoyed. I really liked playing as like when you would ask me things and I knew I was totally lying.
Oh yeah,
Just trying to be like
mostly
super
about
not
kidnapping
weird
your
about
girlfriend.
it,
Yeah,
and acting super weird about it, like because Jake's not a great liar. He is not. So it was just really hard and fun to try to be like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
She was
I gotta go
kidnapped?
do this.
We talked about this 12
Here's
hours
all this
ago.
information that I'm giving you that I'm hoping you don't put the dots together. You know?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't even eat lunch.
Yeah,
I don't even
I
like
was
lunch.
just- yeah.
Where were you for lunch? Did you kidnap her? Like such a bad liar.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
said she was kidnapped?
Yeah,
I don't know. Police
These
are
are
there.
your words.
Yeah,
You said that.
you said
So
it. All
just
right.
just at those interactions when you know I would call my bullshit. You know.
Yep, yep. All right, favorite non-Jake moment, Oliver or Calvin?
I enjoyed both. I did enjoy the him you know jumping out of his apartment and then shifting and changing into a bat. That was interesting and just different. You know, I haven't seen that before. And for Calvin, just his interactions with like the dean and then like all the people that were basically saying, hey man, you need to do this, and you're like, no, fuck all you guys, I'm doing my own thing, you know?
Yep.
Which is something that I think you've never really done before. You've kind of, before you were just like,
He's always been like a
let's go
yes
do
man
this.
Yeah.
under
let's
crushing
go
weight.
do this, yeah. But this, it just seemed
I
like
think
this time
class
you were
is
just
canceled.
like,
Class.
just like, screw all you guys, I need to do this for me.
Yeah.
So that was, it's nice to see that side.
Deal.
I just hope like Dean Johnson is okay with like finding a kid in the park whose blood has been boiled out of
Look,
him.
I took care of him.
Yeah, he's not going
Look,
to be searching
he's
for paranormal
Never
stuff
gonna.
again.
Yeah,
Problem solved.
the club has been disbanded.
Nobody-
All right,
nobody's gonna set up
favorite
those
NPC
meetings.
moment.
So for me, I thought it was really cool just to have that Robbie silhouette, right?
Oh,
Robbie has
Robbie
Spiker.
Battle
Robbie in
Armor.
his armor, just seeing him.
God
just,
bless that ghoul.
you know, we're best friends.
Robbie
Yeah.
has
You know?
been one of my favorite.
If he did survive, my God, the battle.
We're watching a.
If he didn't
a soccer
survive,
game.
my God, the battle.
You know, if the lights had come on too, his like spike battle armor would have been painted in the
It's like
color
tin
of
foil.
the witches.
Oh yeah.
the New Salem witches.
Oh yeah.
They painted him up like their
Yep.
football pads.
Yep, they're actually not spikes. They're just #1 fan witches on his shoulder. Like they're just it's not
Yeah.
battle armor. It's just really ridiculous. But in the darkness, it looks
looks
amazing.
terrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for describing
He
that.
described. He gave me battle armor. I ran with it.
One
Yeah.
of my favorite NPCs of the entire campaign has been Rob.
It started with you and
Yeah.
you in the elevator too.
Uh,
That was the start of the end for sure. So for me, I like to do each one of the PCs once and then kind of one NPC because I play a lot of characters, but this is mostly just us celebrating everything that we've done together. For Calvin, I mean, where do I start? Sterling has quickly gone from honestly one of the worst role players I've ever seen in what 2.5 years time to I am truly amazed time and time again by your role playing. Your final scene with your daughter, just so good, so good. As the MC, it's hard for me to really enjoy stuff in the moment as much because I am always on my guard. I am always bouncing between Duncan and Jess to where I can't just kind of enjoy that. So sometimes I like to just sit back and watch like Oliver and Jake's final scene. But with Calvin, just that whole scene at Heritage Park tonight was just so good. Truly a pleasure to watch you grow as a role player, and I know a lot of our fans have identified you as an amazing role player, and I see what they're seeing and they're seeing what I see, and you should be very proud of the character that you brought to life in this campaign.
Thanks.
Oliver, Daniel, you are my most veteran player, and I have seen you grow considerably as a role player as well. And this time you really wanted to step in a character that was not very familiar with you and kind of take it and run with it. And to see you grow in your trust with me. I know you like to be, you're generally a lot more rules aficionado than the other players.
It's a disease.
It is a disease, and sometimes it corrupts other
I
people
take
worse.
pills once in a while, but
Yeah. But just for the two of us to trust each other and pick up what we're putting down and read off each other and play with each other.
we had a lot of scenes where we literally just looked at each other and said the exact same thing.
We just operate on the same wavelength, and I think that scene, I'm going to kind of double up that scene with Mistress Ivy and Artemis. Once again, I'm playing two characters, but that scene is difficult for me because my entire job in this game is trying to empower you guys, especially you in that scene, to have your vengeance, to surprise you, to twist the knife, to enable you and to crush you simultaneously. And I know it's been the hardest for you to kind of give into this game where you win by losing, but you have been a great sport about that, because I know that has been difficult. But I'm just amazed at how much we've grown together as players and role players, growing with each other. And Junior, I know that if we were to charge tickets to watch us play role-playing games, you'd be the first one to buy a ticket no matter how much the cost.
He'd probably be camped out.
He would wait. He would camp out in the line harder than like a nerd for Comic-Con, I swear to God. But Junior, when we started this campaign, you even mentioned it tonight at dinner, is that the first couple sessions you felt really rough. I mean, it had been probably at least a year since you actively played a role-playing game. And for you to come in, hit the ground running, with us who have been playing together for months, years, almost nonstop, and for you to pick up and kind of rise to the tide that we had established. And I think we really see that in a lot of scenes tonight. Your finale, the emotion there, right? Just, you commit. And the thing is that you display this, not naivete, it's this, the magic is real. Every single time we sit down and play a role-playing together, your jaw drops at every twist and turn, and you're in it, man. You're in this fucking game so hard that it's the immediate reaction. A lot of times I'll be interacting with Daniel and something will happen and you'll just fucking glean at me, and it's everything in my power not to smile
it's
at
hard
you.
Because I want to see the facial expressions, but he's sitting next to me.
Yep, that is
that's why we
unfortunate.
normally stick Junior over there so I can see him too.
Yeah, that's prime real estate, is opposite table of Junior. That's prime real estate for sure. So no, it has been such
Junior was prime real estate because I got to play footsies with Daniel all night.
Oh my God.
That's fair. So it has been such an honor to play with you guys. We'll kind of wind down the final thoughts. We've talked a little bit about Powered by the Apocalypse. I know beyond a doubt we'll return to we'll return to the system. It might be a while before we return back to Urban Shadows, not for a lack of want, but for a lack of, we want to play everything ever. And unfortunately, this game is consuming us, and it was exhausting in the best way possible, but maybe it's time we play Masks or Apillion or
I need a break.
Apocalypse World or something that isn't kicking each other in the nuts Rochambeau style. But yeah, so love the system, had a blast. I wish I could have incorporated more of the system into it. For our role-playing style, especially my storytelling style, is that everything in a rulebook is a launch pad, it's a foundation, and we take it and we run as fast as we can in any direction we can. And sometimes rules be damned or lore be damned, and that's just the way we play, right? We just make up our own shit and see what happens, and you guys are patient enough to stick with us sometimes when we're going nowhere, like Legacy of Ash for a long time. But this campaign, like Sterling said, has just been relentless. From the very first moment when Trent's flashing his lights and honking his horn and getting Calvin to pull over, that moment, I was terrified that it wasn't a strong enough moment to start this campaign because we were so excited for this campaign, but we played to find out what happened. And we played every single week to find out what happened. And tonight we sat down knowing that it was our final session, and we took it and we ran with it, and here we are. The finale.
A really crazy thing for me is that our play style is a little slow. We tend to like to live in every moment as it occurs, which has its benefits and it has its setbacks. But the craziest thing for me is that in game, all of this nonsense happened in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like it was way more than that playing through it, but God, it was just non-stop.
Yeah. What's funny too is when Calvin mentioned to Duncan that there would be like a ley lines or a big magical ghost thing in 4 weeks or whatever, I was like, fuck, we're never going to reach that. We're going to play the rest of the summer and not even get close. And ultimately, we had kind of toyed with the idea of going until the election. And it's fucking March, and that's in-game. And election was going to be in November, and I think that's like 4 years of role-playing content to get there. And I just don't think Calvin, Oliver,
we played
Jake
like
would
a
have made
month.
it. Yeah, like you said, we played 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We would have burned through like every character in all of the books.
Oh my gosh! Like
trying to get there.
And ultimately, I want to address one thing too, is especially you as a viewer, you might fucking hate this ending. I mean, you might have...
It's not a happy ending.
You might have incredible love for Calvin. You might have incredible love for Oliver. You might have incredible love for Jake. Nobody wins. Nobody wins this game. And that might irk you. A big inspiration for this campaign coming into it for me as the MC for the kind of city and the kind of tone of the story that I wanted to play, I really was inspired by True Detective Season 2 on some of the tone and themes and stuff like that. And nobody wins in that story either. And when I finished watching it, it really rubbed me the wrong way. Somewhat spoilers, but Colin Farrell's character kind of really gets the D at the end of the series in a pretty bad way, pretty tragic way. And I remember watching it, I was just so fucking mad as a viewer. And I understand what that's like, especially if you feel that way right now, kind of mad as a viewer. But the more I let that set in, the more I enjoyed the story. The more I kind of knew that there was no other way that the story would end. And I can assure you that we've never had a campaign like this before. It'll probably be a hell of a long time before we have a campaign like this again, because it has been an experience. It has been an emotional roller coaster of sorts.
I think what's kind of so funny about all this is that we're not vampires and werewolves people.
No,
like, this
not
isn't
at
the fiction
all.
we ascribe to.
Not at all. Well, that was my biggest concern coming in. Is I didn't want Underworld. I didn't want Twilight. I mean, we got a little bit of Underworld, and I don't hate Underworld. It's just a popcorn supernatural movie. What we really are good at is bringing fantasy worlds to life in a real way. And a lot of times it did feel like a vampire, but it didn't feel ridiculous. I hope not. A lot of times we brought magic into it, but it didn't feel magical in a way. It felt mysterious. I don't know. It's just so interesting. We try and root everything we do in realism. And so it wasn't a Twilight movie. It wasn't. And that was a big concern coming into this. In fact, Sterling, this wasn't even top pick for which campaign we played next.
It wasn't.
We had a couple campaigns lined up, or systems lined up, for which campaign we would run next. And this was not Sterling's number one pick. And I was super jazzed from Gen Con still when I bought this and wanted to run it. And I was like, it won't be that long of a campaign. Dupe Sterling and playing it with us. Dupe Jr. and joining us. Once Daniel sunk his teeth into the book, I know he was on board.
Yeah, I was really hesitant. Before I really read most of it, I was looking at some of our other systems that we were considering a lot harder, because I was like, vampires and werewolves in a city? Like, what is this? Like, just Twilight?
We don't live in a city.
Yeah,
we're not fans of vampires. We're not fans of werewolves.
Yeah. But after I read into the rules and saw kind of... The big thing is, inside the book, there's actually a long example they do that shows like a whole scene playing out.
Yep.
And when I read through that, I was like, okay, I know what our table is capable of. I know what we do with scenes like this.
Yeah. This
is going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah. And so we were pretty terrible at our first run through an apocalypse system. It was pretty clunky. We ended up doing an alpha test and a beta test before we started recording this campaign. We had never played a system like this. So when we finished episode 4, that was the end of our first night. And I just remember looking at everybody and saying, this is so much fun. Like, I cannot believe how much fun we're having. And all we did that entire first night is just make a big fucking mess. The first hour, we set up a vampire versus werewolf war. Oops. The second hour, we established the Fey Wild War. The third hour, Calvin fired a gun in a nightclub while Oliver almost
domestic terrorism
drank his daughter. And then the fourth hour is we murdered Faye in a park. And then we brought in Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Like a great Friday night.
That was our first session, and it went everywhere and back. And
this campaign, we destroyed 2 of the 3 bars that like
We
we
created.
hung out at.
Yep, that's true. That's
Yeah, a little caution for you if you play Urban Shadows. Start your
When-
rumors out small.
when you play Urban Shadows.
Yeah, don't have your first session rumors, encompass the entire city. Start with something very small, because
And manageable.
yeah, they will escalate out of control incredibly fast.
Yeah, honestly, we built a city before we built characters. And we built characters knowing kind of which character archetype we were going to play, but not building it yet. And then we did our first rumors, and our first rumors, I was just kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird. We'll try it. And those first rumors, just dice rolls, launched our campaign. And we just ran with it, and we ran with it. And then the next session we did rumors, and we ran with it. We didn't come to this table thinking, oh my god, here's the best idea. All right, Oliver fucks over Calvin, who fucks over Jake, who fucks over... We didn't think of that. We didn't plan that. We knew it was going to be... We didn't even know it was going to be like a bittersweet friendship rivalry kind of thing. We didn't name this campaign until a couple sessions later. If you go back and you watch the first Urban Shadows stuff, I just say Urban Shadows campaign because we didn't even know what
We didn't
were
even have
doing.
a working title.
We didn't know what we were doing yet because we were still playing to find out. And sure enough, when I pitched the title to these guys, we were kind of still on the fence. I like friends like these. I just don't get it. And there was a big session where we ended up screwing each other over like real hard, and it just clicked. And the rest was history, I think. Yeah.
Pretty much.
So we'll do closing thoughts, last takeaways, and then we'll bid you adieu and see you guys for the next crazy story arc, whatever that might be. So I guess for my final thoughts, I am incredibly blessed as a GM, and as a friend, and as a person, as a nerd. Not only do I get to play with amazing friends, I get to play amazing games, I get to run a YouTube channel with amazing fans and audience. The passion in my heart, and the passion at my table, and the passion on the channel is just so exhilarating and overwhelming at times that I feel incredibly blessed to do this and to share my passion and hobby with not only my friends, but you guys at home as well. So I cannot believe the story that we told. I will look back fondly on this story for years to come. I know that beyond a doubt already. And yeah, that is me. I am exhausted. I am utterly exhausted. This game has pushed me to my improv skills, my writing skills, my storytelling skills, my humor skills, whatever. I'm constantly pushed to the brink through this game, and I feel like it's made me an even better GM, and I look forward to bringing that to future games for the channel as well. That's me. Popcorn Daniel.
Well, I'm Daniel. I was playing Oliver Silver, our vampire. Closing thoughts. This has been an incredible journey, and if you're watching this, then you stuck with it through the end. And I
Or
know
you're cheating and watching this. Then why are you watching this?
Spoilers?
Super spoilers. Holy
Spoilers.
shit.
If you stuck with it, I hope you really enjoyed the story we told. It was cruel, and it was brutal, and it was heartfelt, and it was all very, very real. And it wasn't a happy story. We didn't have good ends for our characters. But it's not the story of our characters. In Urban Shadows, you tell the story of the city. The city is a cruel mistress, and she lives on. And while Oliver is dead, Calvin is God knows where with Vincennes, and
Broken.
Jake is probably headed to an insane asylum or something. These are just regular old casualties of New Salem. And if at some point we do get a chance to return to New Salem, who knows who we're going to screw over then.
Yeah. Or when, or how, or why, yeah. I'm just getting tired just thinking about the idea. Not that I don't want to, but it's just...
So just once again, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching, and thanks for being a fan.
Yeah. Alright, you get your popcorn someone now.
We'll close on Sterling. Junior's
Okay.
next.
All right, for my closing thoughts, once again, I just want to thank these guys and, for dragging me into this, right?
Duping.
I don't know, I enjoy it, but sometimes I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Because holy hell. It's
You're
rough.
not the only one.
But I think I'm just really spoiled because I've got Martin over here to lead, and to show the way, and that's I think what makes the best part of this is
Thank you.
having you and really setting the scene. That's why I'm always jaw dropping, because I can imagine it, I can picture it, and all the things you do, and so I'm really happy with all our interactions and how us as a group I think do really well playing off each other. And this system is just something that just is a crazy roller coaster, and you're always up and down, and it's awesome, but terrifying at the same time. So
Just to follow up with that super quick. I like how at the beginning of the campaign it was like, oh, I want next scene, and by the end of the campaign it's like, oh, I need one.
don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Wait, Martin.
Eye contact, he can't pick me.
How much time do we have left? Oh, this is 15 minutes in.
Now let's draw
That
straws.
was exactly. But it was just, you didn't want it to come, but at the same time you're like, it's gonna be awesome. So I think this system definitely does that for us.
All right.
Sterling, finish it off.
Well, that's been our campaign. Thanks for watching.
Please subscribe if you haven't. Smash
Sterling, signing off.
smash that like button.
No, so this campaign has been just an absolute treasure. It's been a ton of fun. I couldn't help but thinking tonight of William Shakespeare. He was a guy that wrote a lot of comedies and a lot of tragedies, and this I definitely think was a tragedy. There might have been funny moments and stuff, but the whole time just building towards destruction, and I think that's something that this system really does well, is giving you tons of rope to hang yourself. Everything you do, you're marking corruption or something, and it's been a delight playing with you guys all, and being able to share this with you guys. I think everything that's been said has already been said.
Fair
I
enough.
enjoyed the game. Thursday night before coming over here, most of the time you're dreading coming to play the game.
Gosh,
But
shit,
while
we're
you're
playing
at the
RPGs
table,
tomorrow.
it's
Once we get going,
been a ton of fun.
once we get going, it's unstoppable.
So, that's about all I have to say. I guess
Yeah.
popcorn, you guys, popcorn
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah,
Sure, now.
So I want to say two things before we go. This has been Urban Shadows. This has been Friends Like These. As I said in the finale, if you have any crazy friends that you'd like to share this with and test your friendship and see how you guys might survive this, pick up the book. Encourage them to watch the content. We have a lot of other amazing content on the channel. If this is your first campaign that you've seen, if you're looking for another wacky campaign, we have Legacy of Ash. We have a lot of one-shots that are either funny or tragic or anything like that. If you're watching this, you're probably a pretty big fan of the channel, though, and you're probably very aware of everything that's going on around here. So I just want to thank you guys for watching everything. I want to thank Magpie Games. When we first started this whole process, I reached out to Magpie Games, and their reception to what we were doing was just amazing. They gave us that promo code for 30% off for you, our viewers, and hopefully you guys took advantage of that while it lasted. Just to reach out to the game company and say, hey, we're playing your game. We sent them the trailer, and they were just over the moon excited about what we were doing. And this will be releasing... This finale is probably mid to late summer, and we're going to be going to Gen Con, which is the biggest board game convention in the Western Hemisphere or whatever, North America for sure, second biggest board game convention in the world, and I am so looking forward, hopefully, to meeting some of the people from Magpie Games. I mean, for us to be able to play this. And I've already spoken to them, and they sound pretty excited to meet us, and just to meet them. And I don't know, that just makes me really geek out. And I just, the opportunities that this channel has afforded us has been amazing. And so I wanted to thank you as our viewers for making a lot of this possible. Your guys' comments, your guys' likes, your guys' support keep us going, beyond a doubt. They are a lot of the reason why we take the time and energy to make this as good as we do. So without further ado, I think we are going to call Friends Like These a campaign, wrap it up, and remind you guys to take care of each other out there, because friends like these are sometimes all you got.
Don't have friends like these.
Please don't. If you have friends like these, you need to
Don't ever go see
move out of New Salem, I think.
Yeah.
All right. That is us. We will see you again next time here on Nerds and Stuff. That is campaign, gentlemen.
Well,
Strang's going to have, like, anxiety diarrhea.
exactly.
Right here in the chair.